For those of you who are following me on Instagram, it's Plant Based Man. On Twitter, also Plant Based Man and Major Dream. And for all of those in my NFTs tips crew out there, we are looking to change the world. So I appreciate you. I appreciate my friends and family from Puerto Rico. I appreciate all the artists and all those NFT enthusiasts. And most of all, I appreciate all of you beautiful people that represent the Caribbean every day. So, and on that note, now it's time to talk about curating the Caribbean. Yeah. I've always said that. Boricua's in the house. You know, I've always said that I'm a man of the people, and that being mainly because, I'm one generation out of poverty, so I got no place other than to be than the man of the people. But what it has always allowed me to do was kind of see what's next. And when this NFTs space came together, it made sense for me to get to the people with it because it's the people that are the culture, the people that are the community. And one of my favorite people is my friend Angel Vibe Pill. And when we started talking about this NFT space, it was just like the type of visuals that he was already making. I was just like, it just lent itself to it right away, whether you knew about it or not. And just like how a lot of people are when they get new technology and whatnot, it's a little like, I get it, I do, but he was still trying to work with it. And the beauty about beauty of the best thing about is just like he was just like, yo, I'm curious. There was no ego with it. It was just a level of just like, let me get a little understanding, because once he gets it, once you get that kernel and you're able to just nourish it, then it's like, okay, cool. Then you're off to the races. And this is exactly what it was. Because for me, this thing doesn't make any sense unless the local people of Puerto Rico really kind of see a way to get in. And for the real culture makers, the real industry leaders, the cats who understand what underground music is, because before there's a Bad Bunny, there's Bad Bunny on the underground. So you gotta know those people who know how to spot that. Because when we talk about curating the culture, yeah, we can go out and get a big Basquiat. But wouldn't you rather find 10 unknown Basquiats? And this is what happens when I bring Angel Vibe Pill into the scene as my curator, my artistic director, and I'd love to, and I hope he agrees with the same thing as to say one of my dearest, closest, and most trusted brothers and friends. So I'll let you talk, Angel Vibe Pill, and we'll go through some of his amazing work and just kind of what is his inspiration. But Angel.
Right. Hi, I'm Angel Vipel. I'm so excited to be here, presenting my first drop of NFTs. Thanks to Mayor Williams here. Like, I've been a lot of years um, creative directing a lot of commercial brands in Puerto Rico, sport brands, clothing brands, music. I'm in the music industry too, so been like curating artists, curating sound. I was a producer and a DJ when I was in college, and also now I'm a music video director. I've done like, I don't know, probably more than 75 music videos through whole years, like 5 to 6 years. Working with how you say, like, with the underground scene, and then like watching all those kids chasing their dreams and becoming stars. And practically, when I did understand the NFT space, what it um what it impressed me was like we had control as like creatives of our work, and that's so powerful because sometimes, a lot of times, like the system gets into the art and try to manipulate them to some things that piece of art is not. and you are like, for me, you are like taking out the essence of that artist, because one artist is unique, or one singer or painter is unique, so you can, as a system, make them look differently, or look like the other guy that is selling at a high price. It's not about that. It's about what you can get from his unique heart to express in their art. So for me, NFTs is a magical thing for creatives. And right now, I'm in a mission with Mayor Williams. That's why he called them like Curated the Caribbean. But our mission is like educate, um, first of all, our artists in Puerto Rico, and let them know that now they have fully ownership and fully control of their art. And once we have a fully community in Puerto Rico, we want to copy and paste that blueprint through the whole the Caribbean islands, so we can have an ecosystem of artists in the whole Caribbean, and keep the culture going on.
Amazing words. And you know, when you connect with a kindred spirit, when you connect with a brother that can really see your vision, again, you go faster. You know, it's not really about me telling you how to think. It's someone who feels the pain, who sees the issue. Remember, this is all entrepreneurship. All entrepreneurship is asking, figuring out what the problems are, trying to get solutions to it. The thing is that most of what we do here in the Caribbean isn't really seen by the world. And if the world does see it, they see it through the eyes of other people who don't really live that life. This is the chance now for us to kind of really tell our story, or at least be included in the story. And so yeah, I'm super just excited about how much passion you took into this. And is it because of you mentioned, new artists being manipulated, underground artists being overlooked, people signing bad record deals. Like, how do you see NFTs in the entertainment industry, you know, changing what has happened to a version of what could happen?
In my opinion, like NFTs is gonna change the whole game, cause like Jeff said, um, we don't need them. You know what I mean? Like, if we have the talent and the art, and we can control our distribution and our everything, we don't need the system to take their hands on our art. So for me, like NFTs, probably in less than 5 years, is gonna be like the new gatekeeper of art worldwide. So that's what I think about NFTs.
Nice, 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 nice. And for me, I love this even more so because it's not us telling him about NFTs. It's him understanding how this non-fungible token, this new asset class, this new way to allow the creator to be in charge. He's figuring out how it can fit into his world. So that way he can tell his story and what the story is to his people, because no matter what I feel, no matter how much I think you should know this or you should want this, if you don't have it relayed to you in the way that you want to hear it, forget about it. And then you don't get those underground artists that are able to really move culture forward. You end up getting the same cookie cutter, because once we found out is that once you make money, you start getting really conservative. You start forgetting that you used to get up early. You start to forget how to look around corners. You start to get a little bit more tunnel vision, and the peripheral doesn't work as much anymore, and you start to get fat, lazy, and now you start to block everything out. And it becomes more of a scarcity mentality. And the beauty about culture and people, we live in abundance. There's an abundance of culture because culture happens every time strife starts. So every time you want to start pushing people out, they'll find a way. They will figure out a way. And when you do that, that right there is mintable. That right there allows you something different because you want to buy a house, somebody tells you no, you start to figure out ways to be like, okay, cool, let's do a co-op. Let's do a partner draw. Let's do something that is an opposite of a bank. These are different ways of innovation. And that's just innovation with people and culture. And one of the beauties about the Caribbean, and the reason why I really stress about the beauties and the strength of the Caribbean, is because there's been so many things that has taken, and they still are resilient. They still are strong. And you go to any island, you will get a smile. You will get a hot plate of food. You will get some dances. You get old, angry, upset men and women in their marriages, leaving their marriages for whatever weeks or whatever to go to an island to get rejuvenated. Like, look at all of this stuff that the islands are good for. So when you give a powerful tool and the knowledge and the support and just the freedom to think, I mean, this is what these non-fungible tokens, I believe, can do for the youth, for the current community, even for the older heads. There's a lot of artifacts that are sitting around in the Caribbean that cost a lot of money. There's a lot of things that hold a lot of stories. And who are we going to leave these things to? So if we don't use today's technology to lock it in and show what the visionaries are doing, because there's tons of people with music out there. But what is going to make what we do in music different? So when a man like you with the people that are able to grasp a concept, and you guys are thought leaders and innovators, people are going to come right behind you. So for those out there who are looking on how do you lift people, talk to the people who influence people. Simple. I ain't got time to talk to everybody, but you talk to those who have influence. And then you don't get them to see, you just present and say, what are your thoughts? How do these things work? Like, I know what I think about it, but what do you think about it? And then when they find themselves with equity or see themselves in those shoes, then they're able to run themselves. But the beauty about these islands, again, there's gems all over this place. And unless you take that time and slow yourself down and become a man of the people or a woman of the people, you're going to miss them. But I'll pick them up for you. Hey, look, we have a line of a couple of more artists that we want to bring up. And but I do want to highlight a couple of your pieces if you want to talk about a couple of your pieces first.
Yeah, right there is these Greek statues pieces are inspired by, practically was a meditation that I had, and I'm started to see a white clinic room with 12 TVs vertically and a lot of Greek statues and a lot of what we lived in 2020. That was a hard year. And practically I started like I call a Sunday project, you know what I mean? Like, we all work the week as of, but Sundays I took like creative projects or my kids projects and stuff, and I working on Sundays. But then it became more seriously, because when I got the first 3 pieces, I showed it to people, and people were like, "Yo, that's mad art!" Like, and then like you talked me about the NFTs, and that's why we are here. But practically, what you're gonna see in that collection that is Higher 2020 is gonna be like influences of what we live in 2020, and influences of the Greek culture. Um, and if you can pass it up, yeah, it's that's like inspired by coronavirus and all the technology malinformation that's given to us, and the mothers crying because people are dying, and all the suffering has the universe at the eye of the statue. It's very cool actually. This is like the normal piece, but we at the September collection we're gonna have like two TVs for each piece. It's gonna be a steel one and another one that it's animated with sound. You can put your headphones on and you can have the whole experience. If you can put on the one of the MP4s so people can see how it looks. Yeah. Yeah, it's all animated. Practically each one has his own flavor. You know what I mean? Like, can you pass it out like the other ones? That's breaking reality. It's a very special piece for me because um in the music industry, and I know in life in general, like we have a reality and sometimes not good. But the whole point is that if you can overcome that reality and make your own, no matter what, you can break reality. And this is the example right there. I call it the Blood Warriors because just inspired, a little bit inspired of exactly a music video, very famous music video that I did, and it was all a mayhem from start. Like it was like 99% odds that it's not gonna that we gonna cancel that video, and we, my producers and my team, we blood warriors. We try to make alchemy of that bad vibes and try to pass it out and transform that bad vibe in a magical product, and we did, and it's a video that's gonna practically come to awards and stuff. So that's practically a little inspiration because we break reality. The reality was that everyone was throwing a bad vibe to cancel the video, and we pull it out and we got a beautiful product. So we can apply that into life, and that's the whole purpose. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you, yeah, if you get the like the Vipil chart, the write down Vipil chart 60, right? That one. Yeah, that's practically inspired in. That's my brand. I call it Vipil because you know what I mean, like my macro vision of it, it's spreading that vibe pill in a high frequency to all our future generations, and have like an educational platform that kids can have another options, and creative kids can educate themselves about the do and the don't do's of the industry that they want to make it. Yeah. So practically we have another artist, but maybe you wanna like highlight them. Them I bring like yeah, like I bring like I also bring a couple of Puerto Rican artists that practically creative directing some of them, and some of them are I'm their fan. So one of them is Algarin. If you can put Algarin's art, it's yeah, right there. Yeah, this is a very special artist. Um, Practically he's been painting oleo and graffiti and a lot of painting works throughout the island and throughout the whole artist industry, like actors, party scene, musicians, singers. So he's a very special artist. I love his pieces. we dropped this collaboration with Vipel on NFTs. That's an artist from Puerto Rico. She's called Calma Carmona. She's a very popular artist there. And yeah, he's a whole vibe. Like he's been like in our basel and stuff. So he's really, really, really good Puerto Rican artist. Yeah. And also like I bring one of my boys that it's Moksha Art Collective. If you can put Moksha Art Collective, um yeah, this is so special for me because I met this guy in super random place and well when we got some words, the whole point is that he knows my family and stuff and he's Puerto Rican, so he's been curating art in Miami since the 80s. So he has like a non-profit organizations that is called Moksha Art Collective, and he's like curating like medicinal plants art like through the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and the whole money that they get from the works, they just throw it to the artists and do like events and do like special things for artists, and it's a very pretty non-profit organization. They have like seen numerous of Latin artists that are worldwide recognized, and it's still the same. They don't know about NFTs, you know what I mean? Like, and we are on a mission of educating those artists so they can like have them rights, you know what I mean? Like do things rights with them. It's their art, so I think we should respect that, and NFT is the tool for do that. So I'm gonna give you later some brochures of Moksha. Bring some brochures of Moksha art collectives. And finally but not least, I have my boy from Puerto Rico that is really special for me. I'm his creative designer, and he's for me he's like an art god. He's like a fashion designer, YouTuber. He's in music. He's like I told him he's the gatekeeper of the underground music in Puerto Rico. So you're gonna know him. Mayor is gonna present it to you. He's Soto.
This is the Dapper Dan. For those who know hip hop, for those who know history, you know, one of those you had to be there. If you know who Dapper Dan is, Dapper Dan, he currently sells and creates for the house of Gucci. Gucci gave him his whole line for himself to do because he's a curator of culture and hip hop. And this man right here is the Puerto Rican Dapper Dan. Soto, 14K Gold I mean, you know what? Look. I'm gonna say this. No. We'll stand together. We'll stand together. We'll stand together like a crew. Cause, you know, at the end of the day, I say I'm a man of the people, and there's certain places that certain people won't go when you go to Puerto Rico. But you know, like me, I end up in these places. But in these nooks and crannies, this is where you will find the gems. And I will say that again and again. In these nooks and crannies called the Caribbean, this is where you will find that gems. Because y'all put pressure on us, but diamonds aren't made that without pressure. So thank you. Yeah. So Zoto, 14K, my guy. Talk to me. NFTs. Why are NFTs important to you?
Okay, so I'm sort of 14K from Llorens Torres, Puerto Rico. So, so right now I'm right here, and I wasn't supposed to be here because my flight was supposed to get here at 10 a.m. Right? Then they delayed it all the way, so I got here at 3 p.m. So that's what you call a blue warrior right here, you know. Yeah, yeah. So NFTs and crypto and everything is like the future. And people in Puerto Rico and in my hood and in the world, they usually don't see things further than what they can see at first, right? They kind of blind. So NFT is like the future. Me personally, I've been doing art and doing music and doing everything, doing fashion since 2011. But the brand, I took the brand out in 2012, and since it started, it was like a blow. It blow all over America, Argentina, Chile, USA. And me personally, I couldn't believe it because I'm a guy from a hood, and I was coming straight out of jail. So it was like I came out of jail, and then all of a sudden I'm famous. And this is why I have my gold face right here.
Wow, wow, wow. You know that goes to show you talent can be found anywhere. You know, a lot of what we do in the hood are things for survival, not because we want to do it. You know what I mean? Like nobody just grows up wanting to sell drugs. You know, nobody grows up just wanting to like defend their life. Like these are the things that you realize that you have to do. Some people build the skills, some people don't. But the beauty about it is that a nimble mind will always be able to find angles. That's what a true hustler is. True hustler is able to kind of figure it out on the fly, figure it out when his back is to the wall, figure it out when he's locked up, figure it out when he's coming out. And the thing is, authenticity is recognized. Authenticity is is it's superior currency in the hood. That's called 10 toes down. You know what I mean? Like this is how we roll. And this man is, as far as I've seen, this man is the epitome of that. He's a discerning ear as well, too, and a discerning eye. Man, you know that guy in the hood that you're just like, look, I got this guy. Let me just bring you to, and show you bring him to him. He's like, man, get this kid out of here, man. I ain't got no time for that. I ain't got no time for that. Because at the end of the day, these are the stewards. You can't just let anything sneak in. You need the big homies there to let you know, like, look, that wouldn't fly. That's not working for our culture. And then, but the beauty about it is like, you're not just talking about it, you're being about it. So it's like, okay, that don't work, but guess what? I'm going to show you. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you for being a teacher. What has given you or made you feel that you were supposed to be the leader, the teacher? Like what has given you at least the fearlessness to be so outspoken?
So me personally, my real name is Oro, and Oro in Spanish mean gold. So my mama since birth she named me Oro. So me personally, I was trying to figure out what I was supposed to be and who I was supposed to be, right? So then everybody was trying to bully me because my name is Oro, and because I'm from a hood, you say something to me, I break your nose right there in the spot. So everybody start to getting scared about like bullying me. So then I became the bully, right? And then I started like face like trying to figure out who I was going to be, right? And then I just found it, and it was like it just clicked because one of my friends, my closest friends, saw me, and he always said to me that I had like a thing for fashion. But me personally, I didn't saw it, right? And then he said to me like, if you come with a name, we're gonna do something, and we're gonna bring that those clothes to the artist, right? So he bring me to an artist named De La Ghetto, and I bring him like the first hat that is this one right here. And when he saw it, he just fell in love with the hat, and everything changed. Yeah, and just you were saying with Angel, like I am like the curator of the new guys in the music industry there in Puerto Rico. And Bad Bunny, like somebody here knows who's Bad Bunny, right? Okay. So the first person who took Bad Bunny from Vega Baja, Puerto Rico to San Juan to a party to perform was this guy right here.
You see, listen, there got to be something about this, because if people say like, "Oh, I could find people," no, I find people who find people. Like that energy is real. You know, those people who can say, "All right, you know what? I see something in you." And again, everyone needs a big homie. You may not even be the big homie that really gets them there, but you will be the one who sees that little spark in them. And this is the point of why we wanted to teach minting, teach NFTs, teach freedom strategies. You know, whether it be teaching you how to grow food, teaching you how to think different, teaching you how to get up and get your body right, or teaching you how to mint your intellectual property. At the end of the day, you have men like this, women like this out there for your kids, for your adults who know and understand this and who want to see people do better. You know, so I implore you guys out there, if you don't know about this man, Zoro14K, follow him on YouTube. I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna let him plug your spots. Oh, and tell me, do you have any fashion? Where can it get? Where can we find any of your items?
Okay, so right now I'm rocking my first signature sneakers right here, and they handmade. they are handmade in Italy. So you can. So I had that right, and then we are working on a new collection that is called Joren, just like my hood, and that's supposed to come out like probably in the next week. So me and Angie are going to work in the video and the photo shoot this weekend, and it's coming out. So you can find me in Instagram like Soto14K, YouTube Soto14K, and the podcast. I didn't talk about the podcast, so okay. So so the IG page is Soto, just like that. And then you add a 14K, and that's it. So the podcast is like the only podcast in the whole world that is made right in the front of the ocean. So you can hear the waves and everything, and this deep, beautiful, deep voice right here, right? So yeah, and that's it.
Hey guys, trust me, we are a bunch of friggin' world beaters. What are we? Blood warriors. That's what we are. We make it happen. All right, so guys, curating the Caribbean. Right now we have, like I said, Angel Vibe Pill, Zoro 14K, Algarin, and Moksha Art Collective, repping Puerto Rico. Give it up. All right, all right. So we are not done. We still have the Caribbean showing up. So the beauty about the Caribbean, again, there's many islands there, and one of which is one that has many, many history. It's French, it's Spanish, it's African, it's full of turmoil, full of happiness, and full of so many amazing, amazing artists. And when I talked about curating the Caribbean, one of the things that I said was that I need representation from all the islands. And there was one woman that I knew that was really doing things then, and really got the message, the passion, and it wasn't really on some like, you know, white savior type of vibe. It was really like, no, I get this. I see this. I have a knowing, and I want to give it. And so I reached out to my friend Talia, and I said, help me find the next Basquiat's. Help me find the next, John Brown's. Help me find the next Bob Marley's. Help me find the next beautiful, amazing artists in the Caribbean, and let's teach them what NFTs are. Let them teach what entrepreneurship is. Let them teach us what we can do to create generational wealth. And she was like, "Okay, I'm in." And yeah, so I want to bring up the amazing, and I'm gonna butcher it, but Talia W, Talia Dubs is gonna come up and really talk about what what's going on in Haiti, what's going on in DR, and how the passion and the love of women in this whole movement is really going to get us across the finish line. So Talia Watt, that's what I thought. I was trying to get it mixed up with the Wachowski brothers because they both became women. So both of them, that's wild, ain't that? Wachowski. So Talia, I there's not much I need to ask in a sense to give you something to talk about because trust me, you are going to get some knowledge from this woman. But why Dominican Republic? Why Haiti? Why are they so important to this movement in the Caribbean? Why are they so important to this movement in art? And what is the benefit of an NFT in this whole thing to you?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to be with all of you guys. And I just want to thank Major and give him some props and some love because from his mind and from his heart came this beautiful creation. And I just want to give you a lot of love because the Caribbean does not get love. You understand? And no one speaks for the Caribbean. And the Caribbean has contributed all the love that many people benefit from financially in the countries that pull all the money from YouTube and pull all the money from Spotify at the highest levels. So let me back up. My name is Talia. I'm actually Dr. Talia Witkowski. I have a degree in psychology. And and then I saw that that field was quite corrupt, so I used that information, kept going, got a lot of information about marketing, got a lot of information about nonprofit spaces, businesses, how to run them, all the corrupt stuff in the world. And eventually I realized that the music industry is the way to be able to help the world and to heal the world. And the Caribbean has contributed so much to the world and to the benefit of people musically and healing people and all that, but people don't know where that music comes from. They don't know that reggaeton comes from dancehall. They don't know that dancehall comes from dub. They don't know that dub is the first sampling. They don't know that the whole EDM movement comes from dub, comes from Jamaica. They don't know that comes from the drums in fucking Africa. Do you understand? Like, they know, but they don't know. And so I saw that there was a gap because I went down to the Dominican Republic to try to help a friend with a business that he was starting and fell in love with the country. And the music that I was hearing down there, I wasn't hearing in the States for like sometimes a year and a half, minimum 9 months, minimum. No one knows who Bad Bunny is, even now. Are you fucking kidding me? Excuse my language. Like, so much love. Nice to meet you. It's a blessing. It's a pleasure. Anyways, so I'm very emotional about this because it's an emotional matter. Do you understand? Like, the world needs love through art, and the world needs love through music, and it gets very blocked. My very dear friend DMX, who passed, he knew that he was being blocked. You understand? And he had a lot to say, and he said a lot, and he said it to people in the streets, and they wouldn't let him say it in the music, but he got some of it out if you listen to his prayers. So there are a lot of prophets in the arts. Artists feel deeper than other people. That's why they can express the feelings that other people can't in other ways. So after all of my very interesting background that God put me through to be able to be in this place and be as passionate as I am, I realized that the arts needs a voice and a merging through the Caribbean. And there's so many stories to be told. When you bring up Haiti, it just inspires me because I don't know, I'm very passionate about human rights, so therefore I would be passionate about Black lives and all lives. And the fact that I'm a Jew, and I know that there was this crazy person named Hitler that woke up one day and decided, I mean, there's more backstory to it, but a sociopath who decided he was going to blame all the wrongs on the Jews so he could take over. Like, I understand the story of oppression, right? And I understand what we went through. The Black community doesn't know a lot of the stories that exist of the people uprising. How does Black America, ask anyone who's Black in America the real story of Haiti and see if they know it. See if they know that there is a country, a freed slave state, or whatever you want to call it. And that people, I was raised, just because my general knowledge of what you pick up in general culture, I thought that the Haitians were a greedy people who destroyed their country and that's why it was barren. No one told me that. But what else am I to assume when Dominican Republic is lush and beautiful and green and Haiti is barren? Because I didn't grow up with the story in the history books, like all the other histories I was told, but they left out that history. And the UN came and gave my people, after World War II, an entire fucking country. But no one bailed Haiti out of the bad fucking deal that they did to free themselves. When slavery was abolished, no one went back in and freed them from that. And that's why they have a barren country, and that's why now they're all slaves to the Dominican Republic. But the Dominicans used to be the slaves to the Haitians, because when the Haitians bought their freedom, they didn't want to be slaves anymore, so they went and enslaved the Dominicans. So the Dominicans now enslave the Haitians and call them mosquitoes and beat the shit out of them on the streets. The art is the only way to heal the fucking human race. Because it goes beyond politics, it goes beyond gender, it goes beyond nationality, it goes beyond everything. It's the voice of the nation. So, when I was in the Dominican Republic, everyone says oof, like oof, you know? So my entrepreneurial ass decided to trademark the word oof, and you can't trademark it for everything. So I trademarked it for the use on clothing. So I had that trademark, so I wanted to start a creative incubator in the Dominican Republic, basically to merge the music and the art with North America, because I have a community in North America and I have a community in the Caribbean, and I knew if I merged them, because people in the Caribbean have huge numbers, and somehow they can't get access to North America. Like, how do people not know who Bad Bunny is? Nikki Jams. I didn't even know who, I was living in the DR for a year and a half. I had no idea who the fuck Nikki Jams was. Are you kidding me? What the fuck? Okay, so I wanted to create this thing so that I could bridge that gap. Honestly, I was like, my first response was business opportunity. You know, like there's a huge gap there. And then my heart went into it and I was just like, oh my God, like there's all this magical music that brings people joy. I also saw that in the Dominican Republic or in other countries where people don't have anything, they have music, they have family, they have love, and that's in the culture, that's in the art, that's in the music, that's the joy, you know? They make way more music than we do in the States. We fuck around in the studio for hours and blah, 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 and auto-tune and whatever. They get in there in a night and 5 people, and 3 days later they have a song, and then another song 3 days later, and 12 days later, and they just create, because they also like creating, and they understand that if they create together, they will win together, you know? And that's how the music came out of Puerto Rico, and that the incubator feel, we rise together, we all help each other. Like there might be little beefs for like Instagram fame, but like other than that, like it's all good, you know? I'm sure I shouldn't speak, I don't know. But but it's good. So I wanted to create a space where people could come together, basically mimicking what I saw happening in the Puerto Rican space and how like reggaeton came about. So I started an incubator called Oof Nation because of the word oof. And it's a space for people and creatives to come together and create together. And you were right. I will keep talking unless you cut me off and ask me another question.
No, not at all. You have a lot to say. I mean, like at the end of the day, it's because of people like you who realize, oh, I have a market. Oh, that story's never been or you wake up one day like, what? I didn't know any of this? Okay, if I didn't know any of this, there's a lot of other people that doesn't know any of this. I'll tell you this, perspective is so much, truth is so much, but healing comes if you're prepared to accept the truth. You know, a lot of times people just aren't prepared, you know, and it's scary. The truth can be scary because even with this, even with going into an incubator, you know, there's still a lot of trauma that has to be overlooked. You know, just because there's opportunity here, a lot of these islands have gotten their fingers bitten, and their hand bite, can't touch, it's hot. So to bring an artist to a point of healing the world because it transcends, you know, gender, age, when I just come with some real art, music, math, what have you. Do you anticipate or have you run into any sort of like resistance with, because when you structure isn't necessarily found on many of these islands. And when you coming in with something that is to end up creating an opportunity of freedom, there has to be a level of structure. So in building up the incubator, like what type of structure is created to work within the community as someone who's not born from the community?
So many questions in one. I don't know where to start. Okay. So the structure of the incubator that was created, because originally I wanted to have it be if people gave, they could receive. But I didn't want to manage that because that's operationally a nightmare. And also, I just don't want to do that. I have better things to do with my time. So I figured that if I just put people in a pool together, the people that need something will ask for support, and the people that, have something to give will support. Everyone will see that. We'll see the cream rise to the top. We'll pull those people out of like the WhatsApp groups or whatever. So that's the structure of it. Is just watch for the people that are eager. So to answer your question about people who are raised in environments where they aren't given opportunity, so they don't know how to dream like North Americans and Europeans and stuff like that. Those people, despite that, there are people with dreams who dream, and despite drug addiction, death, poverty, everything you could think of, their passion never goes away. So those people, no matter what they were born into, makes them harder, fiercer, and more amazing at their craft. So those people will rise to the top. I have had some resistance though, which is interesting because you brought up the podcast thing. I'm so glad that you have a podcast. Do you know why? I monetize people for a living on social media. And when I was in the DR, podcasts, it's the highest, I don't have to tell you. You get $2 for every 1,000 people that watch your video on YouTube. You get $25 for every 1,000 people that listen to your podcast. You also have another income vertical just with the visuals. And then you have sponsors. Then you can host your podcast in a fucking restaurant that will pay you to host your fucking podcast in their fucking restaurant. Excuse my language. There's so many income verticals. And I went to all my guys in the DR. I'm friends with a lot of them. I won't name names because I love them and I tried to get them to do it. They get it. They are blocked. There's a lot of people who support people when they're coming up. And so when they want to make decisions independently, it's hard. And unless someone's a business person, they're not thinking in the best interests of the brand of the artist or of the income. They're thinking out of fear. So I have been blocked. I don't know if it's because I'm female or white or American, or like you said, people have had their hands bitten. So they might be like, I know she's your friend, but like we've been here before. And I could see maybe that happen. But I also think it's just that there isn't an understanding, even not only in the Caribbean, but everywhere, of the business behind the arts. Because there aren't people, like, unless you're at a high level, no one's managing your business to help you get to a certain level, and no one's protecting you like a brand, not trying to exploit you. And when I'll just say it also, because my incubator also, I care very much about the emotional and mental health of artists. So when artists are about to break, you don't give them drugs and put them on stage and shit like that. Like, those people should go to jail, So there's ways that we can support the community, and the cream will rise to the top.
That's what I'm talking about. You see, I keep saying, yeah, we need a big homie, but it's not just a guy that's a big homie. As we can clearly see, we need women like Talia and just minds like Talia. Like, the thing is, she comes from high level, and you're able to see, like, okay, there's high level things that I know and that people pay me a whole lot of money for. Yeah, I can figure out ways to uplift people that really need uplifting. She just sat here and broke down what that God gave you. What? Indeed. And I wish more people would use their brain, but that's the beauty about why we're here, is because, I know more people need to use their brains. So I'll get people that use their brains for us, and then we'll show people how to use their brains and make it feel in a way that is comfortable for them. And this is what Oof Nation is doing. It's a Caribbean-based incubator, and I'm trying to take this essence around the Caribbean with me. When we talk about curating the Caribbean, we're talking about curating amazing people like Talia. So Talia, we've been here doing this, so I can talk to you all day, but I just one last thing. Where can anyone in this audience, anyone on the live stream find you, to support you, and find Oof Nation?
So, oh, I don't have the. Can I go through this really quick because it's at the end? The so at Oof Nation official. Can I show the art really quick? Do I have time? It's okay. Okay. Oh, go back for one screen. Sorry. So Oof Nation has we incubate anything of the art. So keep going. Sorry. This is Danny Way. He's a surrealist artist. You can just move through them. It's like a little slideshow. You can keep going. Beautiful. He's a great artist. He's from La Romana, Dominican Republic. He was classically trained at the Chavon School, which is an amazing school that's well reputed in a place called Casa de Campo. Lots of different varieties in his art. You can keep going. So this is one artist. And then I think we have the next artist after this. Keep going. Thank you. Sorry, I'm going fast because there's a cute. This is Lola. She's actually born in the Ukraine, but she's been in the Dominican Republic since she was like 8 or something. And she does these beautiful acrylic arts, and she also does underwater photography. That's incredible. So I featured her twice here. She's lovely. And this is Makuzi. So the story behind Makuzi is that when Major called me and asked if I could find him the next Basque yacht in the Caribbean, I said I think I might have already found him. I've known Major for 4 years. I've known Makuzi, sorry, for 4 years. He's an incredible artist. And that's it. Oof Nation Official. And you can follow us on Instagram, Oof Nation Official. And thank you, Major. And this is incredible. And we're gonna curate the Caribbean together. And NFTs and NFT the movie and everything is gonna be amazing.
All of it. All of it. Well, I would tell you this. We know that we all know there's more islands than just these 4 or 5 that we spoke about today in the Caribbean. And I'm just going to say it needed to start with one. And luckily, we're here in Puerto Rico where that can be. And we have the energy and the network and the awesome minds and the awesome hearts that love to share. And at the end of the day, a rising tide raises all ships. So thank you so much for you and your spirit, your energy. And I look forward to curating the Caribbean with you. All right. All right. So now, last but not least for the afternoon. Now, we always talk about NFTs in art, in real estate, in digital art and whatnot, but we don't really talk about how NFTs can create something for folks in their practical life, that may not be an artist or so. But I know this. Over 2 years ago, I had this man come to meet me and talk to me about a project. And at that point, it was talking about athletes getting to monetize their fan base, and it was focused on athletes before they were even thinking about retirement. So I get to go talk to some young ball players and stuff, and I'm talking to them about stuff like, yo, your fan base is you need this, you need that, and they're just looking at me like, dude, I'm 25. I'll be playing ball forever. What are you talking about, my fans? Like, they're always going to be with me. And then a black swan event happened. COVID, everything shut down, league stopped. Everybody was like, oh, where's my fans? Where's my check? Where's the fans? Like, oh, now you want to think about it. This man was telling me about NFTs for athletes so many years ago, and now they're just knocking down his door because now it's real. So, Enrique Martinez, I would like to call you up to the stage so we can talk about his new platform he's building out, and it's an NFT platform for athletes, both current and retired. So, Enrique Martinez, and he's Boricua, folks. Well, yeah, man. So we go back a ways and over a couple of projects, and I tell you this: if there's one person that I know that is as consistent in terms of attitude, passion, knowledge, know-how, and just picking up the phone, accessible, for as many things as he does for me. You know what I mean? As many things as he does in the world, he picks up the phone for me, and I'm eternally grateful and thankful because I get a lot of my knowledge from my support team, and I tell you this: there's nobody that has been supportive, like for me, like the way that you have. And I'm not, and that's Jeff Crane aside, but but I could definitely tell you this. But I could definitely tell you this: when it comes to just overall the vision for the Caribbean, its resiliency, what these islands have to offer, and just practicality of just how to think things through. Enrique Martinez is my man, and today we're going to talk about this the aspect of what the space of the non-fungible token, what cryptocurrency, blockchain can actually offer to the athlete, whether they are just starting their journey college-wise and on, whether they are currently professional or retired. And I'll let you give us a little bit of insight about that, and then we'll talk about you.
Sure, sure. Well, thank you everyone for thank you Major for the opportunity. NFT movie, everyone over here. So I've been lucky, or I was lucky to get into crypto very early on, back in 2009. And when I got into crypto and Bitcoin at that time, then the way that everyone was talking about Bitcoin was about liberty, freedom, and how is that then you can use this as a way, as a tool to then have an alternative option to monetize in using your or having control of your own money and all of that. So what I have been doing for the last about 10 years is that same vision, that same philosophy of then freedom and liberty, using this technology as a tool to just give people the option, if they want, to just go out of um, the current system and into a new system that can give them that opportunity. In the case of sports, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago actually, I had a good friend of mine from the NFL that came to me and he was crying because he was about to go bankrupt. And his son at that time was over there, and his son came to me and asked me, "Hey, is there any way you can help my dad?" And I saw in him so much opportunity with regards to his fans and everything that he has, but he could not find a way to monetize that fan base. And I said, well, listen, how about if we can tokenize you, tokenize your memorabilia, tokenize everything that you do, and that way provide different sources of revenue, so that then you can have new sources of money aside from the sports that is not coming anymore because he was about to retire. And so, but even if I do that, you still have to help yourself, because even if I help you with 10, 20 new sources of revenue, you still have to lower your your expenses, right? So that's something that I can do for you, but you also have to help yourself. And so that was, at that time, it was all about tokenization, which now transitioned to this thing called NFT, right? But that was pretty much the beginning of then how can we apply this technology into sports.
I bet he was really happy when he started to hear about that because when you have a friend that's a football player and he's coming to you crying because he's feeling like he's a failure. He has family, and so how receptive was he to that play? How receptive was he to it?
Yeah, I mean, at that moment, 100%, right? At that moment, he wanted the help from anyone, right? Myself or anyone that can help him. And so, talking to players that were already retired, it was relatively easy for me, both from the NFL, MLB, NBA, relatively easy for me. Talking to players before they retire, whew, you know, it's it has been so difficult. So I worked for 10 years in the government, actually 6 years in the government, and talking to presidents, to prime ministers, to diplomats, different countries. And I thought when I got into sports, hey, this is just going to be easy, right? I have talked to everyone around the world. I have been into different countries. I have lived in different places. So this is just going to be a piece of cake. When I got into sports, trying to go and talk to someone in the NBA, in NFL, I mean, those people have so many different layers of people, agents, blah blah blah, and each of them, if you want to talk to the player, each of them is going to say, well, if you want to talk to the player, what's in it for me? It's like, well, I don't even know if the player wants my help. I just want to see if he's interested in monetizing himself or tokenizing himself. And so that's because players, when they get into professional level, right? They're not thinking of I'm going to retire, right? They're thinking of I made it, right? I'm going to play my butt off. I'm going to do everything that I can. And then when they made it to that level, then everyone and anyone that knew about them for some time before they would become professional, then all of a sudden they show up. Hey, buddy, you remember me? Say, yeah. Now that I made it, now you show up, and they feel some level of responsibility to also help them back, right? To also give back because these are my friends, my family, my blah blah blah, my uncle that I haven't seen in 20 years, and now he just shows up. That then they are there and they feel like, well, let me just help them, and so unfortunately a lot of these players when they get into professional level, then a lot of their money goes to family and friends and to show up a little bit to some extent, and so they get into a lot of expenses very quickly, and if you don't have that that big paycheck coming from the sport, then you're stuck with a fixed cost, right? So that's something that I realized later on, but it takes some time. And it took COVID actually for the players to realize that, oh my God, I need, retirement can be real and can be very soon, a lot sooner than what I expected. And so what happened is that because of COVID, a lot of these players that I talked to them in 2018, 2019, then they started just DM me back and saying, "Hey, you were talking to me about this crypto thing. Can you can you get back to me on that?" And so I was able to respectfully bypass their agents, um, but always making sure that it's for your own benefit. I mean, it's because I see the future, and what a lot of these kids don't know is that, and people don't know is that more than 55 to 60% of all professional players within 5 years after they leave the sport, they go bankrupt. And so the statistics are not in their favor in terms of being able to sustain themselves, economically speaking, after they leave the sport. And so, when you're facing financial struggles, then there are a lot of other things that accumulate, right? Divorces, drugs, kids, blah, blah. So that's one of those things that then, hey, how can we help you help yourself so that you can continue to be a role model to your family, to your city, to your country, right? So for me, it was not only about the player; it's also about how is that you're affecting the life of so many other kids and so many other people, just because you're struggling right now.
Wow. Powerful stuff. As a former athlete, I definitely see and understand how those type of things can happen. Because when you think about being an athlete, you're really a lottery winner. You're really a lottery winner getting that big payday. You hadn't necessarily gone through any financial understanding, any financial modeling before. You don't understand the idea of having an asset or big lump sum and constant cash flow. Um, Certain players only get paid during the season, so off season that things. And then, but the worst thing about it is that the fact that you feel that you got to save the hood, and that right there a lot of times is the biggest issue. The fact that you got to think that your family, your entire family, got to come with you, or that they deserve something, and the biggest thing about it is like when you're given and they get, life is good. Um, But when you don't have any more or you say no, then it's a problem and they disappear. And it happens with friends and family. So emotional intelligence is something that's super important when it comes to athletes. But also showing them how to create generational wealth, how to secure what they're actually making, but even more so, give their fans, which ultimately is their base, like give their fans the pieces that allow them that kind of like cross bridge to when their season is over or their career is over, they can just seamlessly step right into another vertical of revenue. And so now that COVID, COVID happened, season stopped and started, and so what is the future looking like for athletics, for professional athletes, for those who are looking to have your services? What does that look like?
So for the first time, and that's a great question. So for the first time, players are starting to see that the system is actually set up and designed to be against them after they leave the sport. The system itself is designed to keep them in such a way that they are not provided um, the financial skills needed to handle the incredible influx of money that they suddenly are going to have, right? So, and I always sometimes give the example of this 16-year-old kid that I was, they told me about him. He's from the Bahamas, and they say, hey, Enrique, if you want to take a look at this kid, I mean, he might be good to tokenize him. Some scouts went to the Bahamas, saw him. The kid has a huge, an amazing arm. I mean, he was throwing at 16 around 95, 94 miles per hour, just a laser. And one guy from a team, MLB team, I'm not going to say a team just to be careful. Went over there, saw a scout. We went over there, saw him, signed a check, gave it to him. This guy is from the hood of the Bahamas. Gave him a check for $900,000. That's his signing bonus, and say, hey, listen, if you want to play for us, boom, here's your check. Come and play for us. Obviously, the kid signed, and but what do you think that kid is going to do with $900,000 when his entire family has not made that much money in ever? Yeah. And the kid was going to be in Miami like a week after. What do you think that kid's going to do in Miami with So, and so for the first time, because of this technology, now players are being able to take control of their own future, right? Not just depend on what the managers or the team owners were telling them what they, were valuable to the team, to the game. No, now players are saying, no, I am valuable a lot more outside also the game. I'm valuable to this team, to the fans, and I can connect directly with them. And so they are being able to use this technology, NFTs or tokenization, to then connect directly with the fans and provide their fans an experience, which is what I see as the future of NFTs. It's not only about putting a JPEG, a GIF, a photo as an NFT, minted, put in the blockchain, and then sell it for $10,000. That's great if you can make it. Perfect. Yeah, wish you the best. But try to give a lot more value to your fans so that your fans will remember you in the future when this whole NFT thing goes away or slows down a little bit in the future, so that it becomes valuable even then when NFT is not big anymore, right? And so some of the things that I saw with your art and what some of you guys are doing, just amazing, mind blowing. That is the future, right? Being able to then provide your fans an experience. Going to then, what else can we do? Well, how about if we can make that player, we can digitize that player and create an NFT of the player so that that player now has a life in metaverse, right? And has a life in the digital world, and he can maybe continue playing in a digital world, right? As an NFT, right? And then he can create this whole new metaverse world of fans there that are able to buy him or buy his, he see his game in the digital world, right? So that I see, that as the future, right? Being able to start you digitizing yourself, creating new sources of revenue, both in the physical world and also in the digital world. And that's part of what we're trying to do with our platform, right? Which is an NFT sports platform. How can then players can come, and it's actually called Unlockable Legends. How can any player can come and unlock himself or herself to then be able to continue extending sources of revenue that he or she is able to have. One of the um, players that I have, and she's actually an Olympic athlete. She's our first. I think I mentioned this to you, but she's our first Olympic rower for Puerto Rico, Veronica Toro. And Vero is an amazing friend, an amazing athlete. She's right now in Italy competing. And we are doing her NFTs right now and putting it out there for anyone that wants to buy her NFTs for something as simple as I need money to make it to the Olympics. And so this is even more personal for me and personal for her because, yeah, I want her to compete for us in the Olympics, right? And it's not only for Puerto Rico, yeah, it's also for women, it's also for the Caribbean. It's like, yeah. And she's, an amazing alumni from MIT, also from Stanford. It's like, yeah, bro, you want to support this kind of people, wherever you go, anywhere they are, right? So, but anyway, I think that the future is we're just starting to scratch, how much we can do with this technology when it comes to being able to create something that doesn't change in time, such as a non-fungible token or NFT.
Wow. I want to definitely get minted. I need to make myself into an NFT, hat included for sure. And since I was an athlete, so I'm thinking like I should go through you. But no, man, this is really powerful stuff. Really powerful stuff. The fact that you can take. All right, so athletes put up data, metadata, and these are the type of things that not start to get it put into the API, the protocol of that athlete when you're like uploading it into the metaverse, and allow them to operate as such and keep racking up numbers and keep racking up other kind of accolades through that. And it's like the esports. I mean, this is what this stuff is, and my biggest thing is that everything in the physical world has to be put in the virtual and the augmented reality, because there's time on this side, there's oxygen on this side, there's accidents on this side, there's getting fat, overweight on this side. There's things that won't be in the metaverse. That people will rather bet on that and then let you live this fat life over here. Nothing wrong with being fat and happy, but when you're an athlete, you want to perform at your peak. So just even you saying that and just verbalizing that and visualizing that blows my mind, because there are so many awesome athletes like a Greg Oden, like these guys that do one jump, come down, knees get shattered, and you're done, and you never see what they could be. And just to be able to see that, it's not even about making Michael Jordan. We already know Jordan, but there was those people that could have been. You get a baseball hit right back at you, smacks you in the eye, and like you're done. You know what I mean? And you're like, yo, it was a great pitch. So Tommy John surgery on some pitchers, they end up not having it. So I see this as something that can prolong so many careers, give certain careers, create other leagues for like lesser athletes that are just as competitive. Everybody on a scale of 1 to 10, you're a 3. So okay, cool. We'll have a 3 league. You know what I mean? That all threes play against each other. But guess what? For them, they're playing at a league of a 10. They realize it's them. It's the idea. You're able to match people up and and let them play. This is phenomenal. Wow, we need to get into gaming. Oh, NFTs. Tell me about okay, music. We got a couple of people in here for music, but I can definitely tell you this: we're gonna have to put a pin in that one and take it to that another time. But definitely. So if we have some athletes out there, some retired athletes out there, the people that really need to get in touch with you with their projects, how do we get in touch with you?
Very simple. Just you can send me actually an email. Probably an email would be probably better. My first name Enrique, Enrique, Marti, Marti, and the number one at yahoo.com, and that goes to me personally. So, however I can be of help to anyone, sure. Enrique Marti one at Yahoo. Keep it simple.
First of all, who uses Yahoo? Like anybody out there still uses Yahoo? Like what's going on? This is like some old guy stuff. But that's the good thing about it. You know, he gets it. Some of you old guys out there that need somebody who gets you, this man does. So is there a website for the platform for the company?
We will be public next month. Next month, there's going to be over in Miami an NBA and family office conference, and so that's when we're going to finally go public, together with some NBA players that wanted to be a part of this before we make it public. So, but I still needed to be over here because of my brother Major, and I say, you know what, I'm still going to be there and supporting you and giving Major the the first taste of what this is going to be.
Well, I am honored. I'm very thankful, humbled, and I'm so happy that this secret peek on the inside of what Enrique and his team are working on is something that can be said is coming out of Puerto Rico. Is from our group. I mean, this thing right here is great, and I'm sure you'll get the support from all of us, just like how we always do. But thank you for coming, and I'm glad that we have a lot of talks about a lot of things. We have a lot of talks about a lot of things, doing a lot of things together. But I'm definitely passionate because about this sport thing because it's so near and dear, and for most of us in the hood. Just like what Biggie says, either you're slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. So if you're playing sports as your way out of the hood, you need to be thinking a little different, a little broader, and it's men like Enrique, it's men like myself, it's men like Angel Vibe Pill, it's men like Zoro 14K, it's women like Talia Witt. I mean, what we're talking about, and it's men like Jason Primrose back there that are doing the things that really move culture forward and are willing to cast a big net and open up big arms and allow people to come under so they can flourish and move forward. And this is what we talk about when we're talking about curating the Caribbean, because we realize we do have privilege. We were educated in certain places, we were born in certain places, but we all have a love for the Caribbean islands, the Caribbean culture, and as far as I'm involved, we're gonna definitely make sure that we uplift it. So thank you again, Enrique. This is your boy Major Dream, and this is the Curating Caribbean family, and I hope and NFT the movie. I want to say thank you to NFT the movie, to Jeff Crane, to Go Live, and the whole Go Live staff. Where's Christiana? The whole Go Live crew, Porter Ventures who aren't even here. Where's Jeff and Divvy Go and the non-Divvy Go and the lightning work. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a whole cavalcade of just amazing people, and all of this is going to be featured in NFT the movie. Shameless plug, but if somebody's gonna be out here telling our story, it better be us.
We love you, Major. Listen, right? Let me tell you. Let me tell you something. You know what you are? You're a COI. You're a center of influence. I'm not kidding you, right? I'm not kidding you. 3 in the morning, I get a text from somebody. He's not just a somebody. And he's like, I just bumped into Major. And I'm like, yes. Because, dude, you're such a center of influence. So we love you, dude. We love you.
Thank you. Love you too. Well, and on that note, pay attention to this space. If you want to figure out any type of next level stuff we're doing here, follow me on Instagram, Plant-Based Man. Follow me on Twitter, Plant-Based Man. Or if you really love my name that much, just type in Major Dream. And if you're on Clubhouse, you can always find me in the NFTs tips room, talking about not just what we're doing here in Puerto Rico, not what we're wishing to do here in the NFT space, but really doing what I normally do. Just give knowledge, give game. And I just want to say one more time, I just want to thank my guy, Jason Michael Primrose, for just being that light in the tunnel for our culture. And I just want to say thank you again. And I'm sure if you guys want to know where to find the Lost Children of Andromeda book series, it's the lostchildrenofandromeda.com. And order these books, pre-order the books, support everything that we're doing here, because this is not just for me and us, this is for you. You know, like, all we do is learn off of other people. So it's each one teach one. You also drop some seeds, because we're always planting. Love it.